I spend a lot of time thinking about all of these things, right? This is my job to sit here and think, why do people do this? But people talk a lot about self-sabotage. I can't seem to stop self-sabotaging my weight loss. And it's incredibly frustrating for them because they get some good momentum going and then all of a sudden, boom. And as they maybe put it, life happens or whatnot, they just can't seem to stop sabotaging their weight loss efforts and we get stuck. So today I want to talk about a key element in stopping self-sabotage. And I've been putting a lot of thought into this. When we sabotage something, that means that we took an action that does not line up with the goal that we have set for ourselves. The goal that you set, you wanted that, you made a choice that didn't align with that. And so then it thwarted our efforts, right? But anyways, to get to the point, what is the key to stopping that self-sabotage? And you may think that I'm going to say you need to have more self-discipline, but what drives that self-discipline? What is that driving force that takes this hard stance? I'm not going to make that action. I'm going to be self-disciplined. And I think that it is having personal integrity, which is basically making decisions because it's important to you. I'm not talking about having integrity and showing up for others. It's showing up for you because it is important to you on a soul level versus, I'm in this program and Jenny told me to be self-disciplined. But I'm not that important to you to where you're going to base every decision in your life on what I think. It has to come from what you think. So let's define just what integrity is in general. The first one being, it's when you adhere to moral and ethical principles. You're having a sound moral character. You are someone who is honest. Number two, it might be the state of being whole or not broken or diminished, which might be the integrity of a building, but we can also apply this to us. And then number three, it's a sound or unimpaired or perfect condition. So how can we apply those definitions to just our everyday lives? How can we apply integrity, being sound, being solid on a personal level? So you could say that personal integrity is attempting our best efforts to always do the right thing, even when nobody's looking. Especially when nobody's looking. And even when the choice is not an easy one. It's I'm doing it because it's important to me and I'm doing it no matter what. I'm doing it whether this person knows about it or that person knows about it. I'm doing it because I know it's the right thing and I want to be settled in here. You could also say personal integrity is staying true to yourself. We're not compromised by having these inconsistencies between what we believe, what we say, and what we do. Personal integrity is an inside job. So when we live our lives with integrity, it means that we're always honest. And taking that a little bit further, when we live with personal integrity, we're always honest with ourselves. We let our actions speak for who we are and what we believe in. We don't have this need to just tell others. We don't have to convince others. We practice what we preach. Integrity is a choice that we make. And sometimes these everyday choices that we're making seem insignificant, but that does not mean that they are not important. Even these smallest actions can have an impact on your personal integrity and your self-respect. So why is this so important? Why is having integrity so important? Because it is the hallmark of successful people, being solid in who you are as a person, what is important to you, and then aligning everything that you do, every decision that you make is based on being in alignment with your deepest values, your core values. Successful people, they know what their core values are. Just like any successful business will have this clearly defined set of values that they operate under. You can really go to their website usually and see them. Every single decision that the CEO of that company makes for the company weighs it against, well, what are our company values? And does this decision align with who we are as a company? Successful companies know who they are, and every decision they make is based on that. Just like successful people, you know who you are, you know what you stand for, and the decisions that you make are based off of that. So in this program, any weight loss program, what makes a successful weight loss journey? Is it getting the weight off, or is it getting the weight off and keeping it off? I'm going to argue the latter. So we need to ask ourselves, who is this person now standing at the end goal? What makes them tick? What values do they live by? How can I be the person that stays here? It's not just like, I'm going to keep basing my decisions off of what I was. No, you become somebody different in the journey. That's why people say the journey is so much more important than the end goal, because the journey changes you. It brings you back to yourself. It makes you realize, oh man, who am I? What am I made of? What am I capable of? And you find yourself again. You become more confident. You become more self-aware. And that is the person that's standing over here. And they continue to live that way. We go through that whole journey. We spend time defining our core values. We make a dang mission statement at the end of it. Like, who am I? What is it that I believe in? What do I care about? This is who I am when I make all my decisions. Because if you don't know that, how will you possibly live by your values if you don't even know them, if you've never given it any thought? So this week, I want you to start giving that some thought. What are your core values? Because we base our decisions on these things. The values that no matter what the consequence is, you're not going to compromise on it. You're dying on that hill over this value. Because guys, so many of us value the taste of food, but that is not a core value. You are not going to be faced at gunpoint and die on the hill and go down for the flavor burst of food. That's not anything you're willing to put your life up against. And how many of us base our decisions on this minor value of flavor versus something like faith, respect, honesty? Okay, these things are worth basing every decision on, not flavor. It's something we value, we think it's great, but it's not something to live and die by. Step one, I want you to start thinking about and defining your values. Like, what is it that is so important to me? Because that is what you need to base your journey off of. I'm eating this food because I value this body. And so I fuel it with things that it deserves. Okay, see what I did there versus I hate this thing and I'm going to like it when I get over there. It's already valuable. It was gifted to you. It's been with you this whole time. And it's time that we say, wow, instead of being disgusted with this and mad at this, I'm going to be like, you're freaking awesome. And you've stuck by me so long and I appreciate you. And I'm going to start taking care of you. I'm going to respect you. Start thinking about that. You've got to start thinking deeper than these little likes. It's got to come from here. And then the second thing is, once you know what those values are, start analyzing every choice you make. Every choice. How many times have you cut corners or made bad choices because you think nobody's watching? It's like that whole, if the tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it really happen? Yes, it still fell, Listen, the actions that you take, they affect your body no matter if anybody knows you took them or not. Your body knows and it responds. And more importantly, your soul knows. Having integrity means that no matter what, you make the choice that you know to be right, especially when nobody's watching. It's very obvious what is the right and wrong choice. But if you find yourself like, I don't know, I want you to ask yourself these two questions. The first thing is, if this choice that you made was like the front page of a newspaper and everybody in town would read it and know about it, would you feel okay about that? And number two, if I make this choice, will I feel okay about it afterwards? So maybe honesty and integrity aren't values, you should live by when it's convenient. In fact, no core values are things that you should only live by when they're convenient. They're values that you should live by all the time. I get it. There's a lot of money in certain things. You got to know what your values are. I keep talking about honesty and integrity. I feel like these are on most people's list, but seriously, spend time doing that. There's a ton of different things that you could pull from. It's not like some are better than others. It's just like, these are the ones that are really valuable to me. And this is what's going to cause me to finally live the life that I deserve and that I know I can, is because I'm going to be guided by these things. And then step two, base every action, big and small. Somebody's watching, somebody's not. Base every action on these things, even when nobody knows that you did it, but you, especially then, right? Okay. So then some additional things I just want to throw out there. When you know these things and when you start taking action, other people might notice and challenge it. So it's really helpful to start learning how to be assertive in a nice way, right? So that you can defend your position without being aggressive or without telling them that's what they should do or everyone should do it. Learn how to defend it in a way that you just very straightforward, like, oh, I know, I'm so glad you found what works for you. This is what I live and die by. I have some very strong points of view about food that goes against the common. And I say this because I know there's tons of people that also share my views about food. But I would say the most widely accepted narrative about how to eat, my beliefs really go against that. I don't preach all things in moderation. I certainly also don't judge if people choose, I'm going to have this from time to time. Yeah, your life. But I don't stand up there saying, come and I'm going to help you lose weight and all things in moderation. And I have really important reasons for this. And I will die on this hill. I will. I have gone through a massive change because of what I've learned, what I've studied, what I've experienced. So I have these reasons that I'm willing to die on this hill and willing to fight for. And when I first adopted this mindset, I was so much more aggressive and agitated as I was defending it, but really over time, I have learned how to articulate better and hold my ground firmly without getting upset when people don't agree with me or understand it. I just know a little bit different than you do. I've experienced something a little bit different maybe. I have more knowledge. I've spent more time researching this. So don't expect it to be the same. And so I've learned how to really articulate that. And so that's what I want to encourage you to, is to really sort of learn this way to defend and what you're doing in a very peaceful way, because it is something that's important to me. And I hope it's important to you, and I'm happy to share why to people if they want to hear it. But either way, if they want to hear it or not, I'm not going to argue with them. I still stand by it. And then some people can't be peaceful about it. And I just say, I'm going to help you protect your peace by blocking you so you don't have to see it anymore. Another thing is to really work on avoiding white lies to yourself and to other people. They may seem really harmless, like these little tiny lies. It doesn't matter. It's just a little fudge, but they're still lies and it's still disruptive in here. Even if you're only lying to yourself a little bit, you aren't really fooling yourself. You might be thinking you are, but So always tell the truth. It's okay. Everything is okay because, I know this sounds so dumb, but everything's okay because it is. It's fine. And it just feels so much better when you can be honest about things and not lie to yourself or lie to others, because you can grow from a place of truth. You have to be real about where you really are. And then that's how you start taking steps. So just know that it's okay to mess up, but you gotta be honest about it and you gotta work from there. That's how you make progress. Okay, learn how to take responsibility for your actions. Fine, I did this, I own it, because if you make a mistake, girl, it's fine. We're human, we make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. Just own up to it. I made the mistake, do it immediately, and then do what you can to make it right again. Okay, next, keep your word. Don't get in the habit of making promises that you cannot keep. You have to start with one promise. Make that promise and keep it. Talk to yourself afterwards. Make a promise, one thing, stick to it. Afterwards, say, I did it. I really did it. I normally break promises to myself, but I did not. And that feels really good. Then you make another promise and then you keep it. And then guess what? You start building your trust back with yourself. 2 more things. Remember that when things get crazy, when we get nervous, anxious, worried, in times of fear, when things are chaotic, when things are crazy, the temptation is going to be even greater to make the wrong choice. But you have to use these opportunities to demonstrate your true character. Stay humble and down to earth while you're doing all of this stuff. Keep your eyes on your own paper. We all have areas to improve. Quit focusing on where other people need to work and that person needs to do this and they should do this. Eyes on your own paper. Focus on yourself. Take pride and be proud of what you're doing, and you do not need anybody else. You're not doing it for their approval. You don't need them to constantly tell you, way to go. That has to come from within. Do it for yourself, because if you're doing it for them, it's not important enough. And I know that sounds dumb, but you're like, it's my kids are the most important thing in the world. I'm like, well, it's not pushing you past the point right now. Let's get serious with ourselves. We need to do this because it matters to us. It affects us and our life and our results and how we feel. Your kids notice it. Oh, 100% your kids are watching you. They hear everything you say, but more importantly, they watch everything you do. But my point is self-discipline and making changes in your life boils down to having personal integrity. Holly and I offer you accountability. We're here to help. The way to keep those actions coming in strong is to really develop a sense of personal integrity and knowing that your every single action matters. Stay strong, ladies. Love you guys. Bye.